I want you to take a look at what's happening in Iowa right now because it perfectly encapsulates the catastrophic failure of Trump's economic agenda. And the most damning part, this is happening in one of Trump's strongest states, a place that voted for him twice. So when his own voters are getting crushed by his policies, you know something has gone terribly wrong. The New York Times did a deep dive into the Iowa economy, so let's start with the headline number here. During the first quarter of 2025, Iowa's gross domestic product, their GDP, dropped by 6.1%, more than any other state aside from neighboring Nebraska. We're talking about the worst economic collapse in the nation happening in deep red Iowa under the watch of the guy they voted for to supposedly fix the economy. And listen to how one Iowa farming family describes what they're experiencing right now. Right now, we're fighting different economic wars all at once. You can sustain it one at a time, but right now, it's death by 1,000 paper cuts. Death by 1,000 paper cuts, because Trump's economic policies are hitting Iowa from every conceivable angle. Quote, for Iowans, losing China's soybean market in the president's trade war was only one of the many economic shocks that have hit the state since the start of Mr. Trump's second term. The cost of tractors and fertilizers have shot up with his tariffs. Labor has grown scarcer in agribusiness. Major manufacturers have laid off workers. Even the ubiquitous wind turbines that provide income for some Iowa farmers are in the president's sights. So you're getting hit with higher costs, you can't find workers, manufacturers are laying people off, and he is dismantling the wind energy sector. Tell me, at what point does this start to look like winning? Now, here's where it gets devastating. Iowa is the country's largest corn producer and second largest soybean producer. America exports as much as half of its soybeans, and the vast majority have gone to China, $12.6 billion worth last year. But this year, China has stopped purchasing soybeans from the United States to retaliate against Trump's tariffs altogether, meaning that number is now zero. American producers have spent decades building up these relationships. The Iowa Soybean Association chief has traveled to China 25 times, and here's his assessment. Quote, I'm not exactly sure how we repair some of these relationships. This is as challenging as I've seen it. We've got uncertainties beyond compare. But here's where it gets really insane. When Trump announced a $20 billion bailout for Argentina, China immediately locked up Argentine soybean exports to fill the gap. Donald Trump is literally funding Iowa's competitors, which leaves Iowa farmers rightfully asking the question, who are you subsidizing, our competitors or us? And it's not just soybeans either. After Trump suggested importing more beef from Argentina, the Iowa Cattlemen's Association chief said, Trump's comments roiled cattle markets, and a volatile market provides less of an opportunity for our producers to make decisions that are going to help keep them profitable and viable. And yet, still, Trump won't relent, with his administration actually doubling down. Just today, Trump's Treasury Secretary, who also, by the way, owns farmland, explained that he was supportive of using taxpayer funds to bail out a foreign country.
The Trump administration recently extended a $20 billion lifeline to Argentina that has gotten some bipartisan criticism, Mr. Secretary, including from Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene of Georgia. I'll read you a little bit of what she wrote. She says, quote, Americans are getting decimated with high cost of living and skyrocketing insurance costs. Many of them have zero savings and some are maxing out credit cards to survive. Tell me how it's America first to bail out a foreign country with 20 or even 40 billion taxpayer dollars. How is this move America first, Mr. Secretary?
Well, Kristen, it is America first because we are supporting a U.S. ally. There will be no taxpayer losses. This is a swap line. This is not a bailout. And it is from the Exchange Stabilization Fund, which Treasury, I control at Treasury. It is never registered a loss. It is not going to register a loss this time. We are supporting a U.S. ally in Latin America, and we want to set the tone in Latin America.
So if you think that this administration is capable of learning any lesson, you clearly thought wrong. So what's the fix here? Well, given the damage that he himself has caused, Trump says that he'll bail out the farmers with tariff money. The problem is, they don't want temporary bailouts. That's not a sustainable business model. It is a Band-Aid. Here's what one Iowa farmer who voted for Trump said, quote, we would much rather farm with no federal assistance whatsoever. We want to be able to sell our products for a good value, and normally we can. Again, they want markets, not handouts. But even if bailouts happen, farmers note the payments are skewed toward the bigger guys. In other words, these bailouts will just accelerate consolidation that is already squeezing out family farms. And that's how Trump likes it. In 2019, Trump's first agriculture secretary, Sonny Perdue, defended farmland consolidation, telling dairy farmers, quote, "In America, the big get bigger and the small go out. I don't think in America for any small business, we have a guaranteed income or guaranteed profitability." That right there is the ethos of Donald Trump and the people he surrounds himself with. Meanwhile, manufacturing, which drives 17% of Iowa's economic output, is also getting crushed. John Deere has laid off hundreds of workers as tariffs on steel and aluminum cost the company more than $300 million. $300 million in additional costs. Then there's the immigration issue. Meatpacking plants, which help make Iowa the nation's leading pork producer, rely heavily on foreign-born workers, hundreds of thousands of whom saw their legal status stripped away by the president. One plant laid off approximately 200 workers from Haiti, Cuba, El Salvador, and Honduras in June, and Iowa state economists noted it's not costless to replace that number of workers. It's difficult to find domestic workers who take these jobs. Fertilizer prices are up 14%, equipment costs have skyrocketed, and the Iowa Farmers Union president said our farms and lots of farms are having to assess if there's real opportunity for years down the road. Fifth-generation farmers are questioning whether there's even a future in agriculture. Next year's midterm elections will be telling, though. Iowa has competitive House races, plus they're replacing their retiring governor and senator, all Republicans. As one Democratic Senate candidate put it, people are hurting everywhere in Iowa, and they're looking for something different. The bottom line, Iowa voted for Trump because he promised to fight for them, and yet instead, their GDP dropped 6.1%, worst in the nation, their $12.6 billion export market disappeared, their costs skyrocketed, their workers were deported, and their competitors got subsidized with American taxpayer dollars. If that's what America First looks like, Iowa has every right to ask, where exactly do we fit in? And more importantly, what steps can we take to avoid empowering the same people who've landed us in this position that we find ourselves in now? Before you go, if you enjoyed this content and you want to see more and support independent media, please subscribe to this channel. The subscribe button will be right here on the screen. But second, the reality is that we are now in a political environment where this administration can lean on any of the social media platforms to suppress certain voices if they don't like critical coverage. That means my longevity here is in the hands of a few tech billionaires who are already making it clear that they are willing to cater to this administration. To that end, signing up for my newsletter is a way for me to reach you directly if that ever becomes necessary. I'll put the link right here on the screen as well, so please sign up. It's free, but there's also an option to do a paid subscription if you'd like to support me and my team. I really appreciate it. Thanks so much for watching.